Orion paused for a moment, then continued. After that, I returned to my chamber. I could barely stay still. I could not believe that my grandfather was using my uncle Tyrain to force me to connect with the fire spirit. I knew the prisoner had warned me, but I could not simply do nothing. I could not leave my uncle to suffer while I hid inside the House of Gods. So, I made a plan. I told the priest that I would be meditating for a long time inside my chamber, remaining in my smoke form, and that I was not to be disturbed. As much as I missed my mother, Kai, and Ma, I did not even have the chance to speak with them. The weight inside my chest was unbearable. My uncle needed me, and I felt like nothing but a burden, someone unable to protect the people he loved. So I decided to leave the temple in my smoke form and go to the castle to check on Tyrain myself. I slipped out of the temple and went straight to the castle. At first, nothing seemed out of the ordinary. The halls were quiet. The air was still. But then I caught it. The unmistakable scent of Tyrain's blood. I followed the scent through the castle until it led me down into a dark, isolated cellar. My heart began to race. I could not believe my grandfather would go that far. I did not even want to look inside. The scent of blood outside the cellar was already enough to tell me that something terrible had happened. Still in my smoke form, I gathered my courage and slipped through the door. And then I saw him. I could not believe my eyes. I could not, and would not believe that the broken man chained before me was my uncle Tyrain. All of this, for what? Rage filled me. Hatred burned inside me toward my grandfather. I could not understand how he could do such a thing to Tyrain. Sweet Tyrain. What had they done to him? I wept in silence. He could not hear me. He did not even have the strength to sense my presence. Then I lost control. I transformed into my royal demon form and stood before him, filled with all the rage in the universe. I called his name. Slowly, Tyrain raised his head, disbelief filling his eyes. Here, Orion stopped speaking. The words hurt too much. It was painful enough to hear them leave his mouth, but the images carved into his memory were worse. They would remain there forever. Silent tears poured from his eyes like a stream, as though Tyrain still stood before him in that cellar. Arphs, JS, and Lilian did not know what to do. They remained frozen in place like statues, while Divine Seven softly leaned toward Orion and wrapped him in a gentle embrace. Orion felt warmth, a warmth he had not felt in a very long time. He gathered his strength and continued, though all he wanted was to step away, to disappear, to be alone. But the memories kept rushing through his mind, like impatient figures waiting in a long line, each one demanding to be seen. Tyrain finally noticed me, Orion said quietly. The moment he did, he panicked. He told me to get out quickly. Even chained, wounded, and barely able to lift his head, he was still worried about me. But because I had not touched him, the Guardians did not attack. They simply watched me, silent and unmoving. Since I had transformed into my royal form, people inside the castle sensed my presence. I knew Kai, my mother, and Ma would come running, so I rushed to create the circle the prisoner had told me about before they could reach the cellar and stop me. I bit my finger and used my blood to draw a circle on the ground. I had never done anything like that before, but I would have done anything to save Tyrain, anything to set him free. I stood in the middle of the circle and drew a triangle inside it. Then I splashed some of my blood toward the Guardians and quickly began reciting the words the prisoner had taught me. By the mysterious name of the Fire Spirit, I command both of you to release Tyrain and return to the place from which you came. Then I said, Ashtosh out. As I spoke the words, Kai, my mother Ma, and several royals burst through the cellar door. But it was already too late. They froze. Their eyes moved between me, Tyrain, and the two blood-marked guardians. Everyone was on high alert. My mother gasped, tears filling her eyes. Kai pushed Ma out of the cellar and prepared to fight. But nothing happened. The guardians did not vanish. They did not bow. They did not obey. I had failed to unsummon them. Then the guardians began to move. They stepped forward, tall and mighty, their presence crushing the air around us. Yet my mother, Kai, and the royals who arrived after them stood their ground. They were ready to sacrifice their lives to protect me. To protect me again. And again. I stood there, furious and helpless. My mother shouted for me to leave the room. It was the first time she had ever raised her voice at me like that. She screamed at me to run while defending me with everything she had. Tyrain struggled against his chains, trying desperately to break free, but it was useless. Then silence filled my head. I watched everything as if I were standing behind glass, as if I were watching raindrops slide down a window. I watched the royals fall, severely wounded. I watched Kai fight with all his strength, only to be badly injured. Then I saw my mother who was trying to protect me and fight at the same time, begin to suffer under their attacks. And I just stood there, lifeless. I hated that I was still breathing.